Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you? Hope you're well. Welcome back to another episode of Leadership Matters. This is Leadership Matters Live number 11. Um, I'll give it some time to see if some people pop on here, but I'm not going to allow too much time to pass by. I have plenty to say, so Lord knows I can definitely just go on a bit of a ramble with some of the things I want to throw out there to everyone. But I'll see if we can get some people on, get some comments going on. Also, another thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and share this link invitation. So I'm going to copy and paste the link into the comments. And if anyone wants to come on here, you can go ahead and click on that link and we'll see if we can bring you on up. All right. So happy Monday. Hope everyone's got through Monday okay. So Monday's always a rough one. A very busy day for me. Always a lot going on, but seems like there's more going on lately than usual. So a bit of a tough day, but we made it through. Got through okay. Still sipping on coffee though. Certainly not the healthiest thing for me, but it is what it is right now. So I wanted to share some things with everyone. Hey, what's up to whoever is on with me? Thank you very much for joining. Say what's up and go ahead and ask questions. Feel free to question me on some things, anything, any perspective that I throw out there. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of what's going on in my life. And as I always say, if it matters to me, it has to matter to some other people out there as well. So hey, how are you? Thank you very much for being with me here. So everyone, you can find me at Ldrship Matters pretty much everywhere now, and leadership is spelled Ldrship. That is for the 7 core values of the Army, and you can see those scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, even TikTok now. Go figure. I don't know. I don't have any clue what I'm actually doing on TikTok, but I might throw some things out there every once in a while. So as you guys know, the mission has changed a little bit with Leadership Matters. One of the things that I feel that I'm moving forward in is speaking to young men. As I've mentioned before, I am a father. I'm one of 3 boys. I was raised by a man. I have a lot of great male role models that I can look up to in my life, and female role models. But you know, being that I am the father of 2 boys, speaking to young men is something that's definitely very important to me. And more than that, using some of the struggles that I've been through in the past couple of years, hopefully speaking to divorced dads in toxic relationships and, you know, helping them figure out how to get on their feet. But I'll speak more about that at another time. Today, it's really just about my trip to Puerto Rico, which was just an outstanding trip, and some of the things that I learned along the way, some of the things I learned about myself, and just, I guess, my culture, where I come from. So I want to go ahead and preface that one of the things that I have to really throw out there is I am a Puerto Rican male, but I'm 41 years old. I was born in the Bronx. I lived most of my life in New York and now in New Jersey. I speak very little Spanish, and I had never been to Puerto Rico before last week. So it was an eye-opening experience, a religious experience almost. It felt like I was returning home, and I felt that even before I got there. You know, I had mentioned to a few people in the past, I feel as if the island had been calling me. So I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to go. It was more beautiful and more majestic and enchanted than I could have possibly imagined. And I can't wait to go back. And so much of what I do here will be focused on some of my roots in and from Puerto Rico and from my family. Things are going to be changing. I'm very excited about where things are going with what I'm doing here on this podcast and what I'm doing in my coaching. So, starting up the life coaching business, like other people have done, and just kind of using this as a platform to hopefully get that started. So I'm super excited about it. But anyway, let me get going with some of the things that I felt during my trip and since my trip, because it was just so much. First off, I'm very excited that this coming weekend I get to see my family. I get to talk about Puerto Rico, and we're gonna have our annual Salgado Puerto Rican Day barbecue. So that's gonna be super fun. I can't wait. I'm definitely gonna wear the hat that I got that I bought over there. I'm definitely gonna wear that. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I am very happy. So I'm going to wear this weekend, right? It's got the cookie on there, the Boricua flag, right? And I'm very excited to see my family. It's been a while since we've all gotten together, since the beginning of COVID. So it's just going to be a great time, and hopefully just kind of keeping this Boricua vibe going forward. So some of the things that and trying to tie my trip into what's going on here in Leadership Matters. And that's what I do. Like, I take my real life, I learn from my real life, and I try to, just absorb that and throw it back out there for other people to benefit from. And I use my experiences in my daily life and as I go forward and speaking to other people. And I believe that's something that's very important for leaders in general, is to understand that, you're always learning, and use what you learn to share with other people so that they can learn from the things that you're going through in your life. Thank you. So one of the things that was very evident to me while I was there on the island is, it's something that's, I feel connected with the island. I've always thrown it out there and even put it out there earlier on this podcast. If it matters to me, it matters to other people. And the reason I feel that way is because I'm a pretty well-rounded person, more ways than one, right around my belly too. I'm a pretty well-rounded person. I can do a little bit of a lot of different things. And I can speak to a lot of different topics, just, not as an expert, but I can at least hold that conversation and hang with people and ask the right questions in order to learn more. So I've often felt as if I'm kind of your average guy. And in Puerto Rico, I felt the vibe that we are everyone. Boricuas can look like any complexion, any eye color, any hair color, any hairstyle. And they also just accept everyone. So I just kind of feel as if, Puerto Rico is a microcosm of what the United States is. Okay, hold on. That's a off the wall question. So let me finish my thought. Puerto Rico is very much like the United States in that there's a little bit of everyone. There's so many different types of people. And I feel that's important to recognize, because as we move forward and as I move forward with what I'm doing here, it goes out to everyone. It's for the common good of the benefit of everyone, right? But I really want to focus on young men and young men of color, of Latino descent, African-American young men. But this is for everyone. And, I talk about that L in leadership of loyalty. I want to be loyal to my people, my blood, be loyal to Puerto Rico, and recognize that we are everyone. So by being loyal to myself and my homeland, I think I'm doing what's best for all people out there, because, Puerto Rico, again, it's just a microcosm of the rest of our country. We look like everyone, and we can look like everyone. All right, let me get to this quick question. If you're disappointed in someone that was close to you, how would you feel? This was a sister I hadn't. This person was a sister, and I hadn't talked to in over a year. Okay, definitely getting me off track here. You know what? I guess I would just want that, like you said, you want that person to be happy. Maybe we could speak about that offline at some point. So, okay. So anyway, the next thing I want to get to is, some of the things that I learned is that there's so much more to what I was experiencing than is just on the surface. As I was getting ready for the trip, a lot of people told me to do a lot of different things. Some people told me to go to Old San Juan. Some people told me to spend the whole day on the beach and do nothing but just hanging on the beach and drink, which I did plenty of pina coladas. Some people advised me to do nothing but stay in the room. So it's there's so much more to it than just on the surface, right? You can definitely party. You can definitely kind of get lost in the beautiful beaches and just the beautiful scenery. You could just get lost in drinking, but there's so much more to the island. Stay on topic, please. Thank you. There's so much more to the island, and we can get lost on that surface superficial stuff, but we want to go deeper, which was why I was really appreciative of the second day. Hey, Dad, what's up? My pops on here. Dad, I would think it would be hilarious if you came on here and joined me. So again, for anyone else, if you're considering joining, the link is in the comments, and I'll go ahead and post it again. All right. So there's so much more, right? You can get lost into that superficial stuff. But the second day I was there, I had the chance to go to El Yunque, the rainforest, and I just, I was emotional. I was floored with how beautiful it was. I felt very connected there. I tried to, just sort of take some time and meditate and breathe and just kind of feel at one. And some of the things that I learned that day, and I think I've heard this before about the coqui, how Puerto Rico is very proud of the coqui, but because it's so tiny and it's so loud, and it's kind of how we are. We're a tiny island, but we're a loud people. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, okay, you're shy. Well, that's okay. I wasn't planning on having anyone on here anyway. I'm just ranting and rambling a little bit. Talking about Puerto Rico and some of the things that I learned and felt over the course of the trip and afterwards. I had the chance to go to the bioluminescent bay in Farjado. We had a great time there. I really enjoyed it. It was not a really dark night, but it was dark enough and enough clouds to really, just appreciate it. We kind of splashed the water up and saw the microorganisms light up. It kind of looked like little mini fireworks every time you did that. But again, we had to kayak through a small river to get there, and it was just, I felt kind of transported back in time a little bit to how our ancestors must have traveled, and I just again, it's frustrating that, and Dad, no offense, but it's frustrating that I'm 41 years old and I just got there for the first time. I was there when I was a kid, less than a year old, I think, but I just feel it's such a part of me. And speaking of which, I remember once when when I was younger, I was a teenager, and you went to a parade in the city, and you said that there were Taino there. And Taino is the indigenous people of Puerto Rico. And you said they all look like me, and I didn't know what that meant, but I felt proud to know that, oh yeah, they look like me, like cool. Maybe I am. And I think my cousin did the ancestry, and our bloodline does go back to the Taino. And no, I do not speak Spanish fluently, so I'm working on it. And that's also one of the things that I hope to accomplish with this project as I get it off the ground, is to help kids, especially young men that want to reconnect with their culture, because it was frustrating to be there and not speak Spanish fluently and not understand all the things about my culture that I feel that I should have. So I would love to, and there's a whole subgroup of Latinos that don't speak Spanish, and are so Americanized, and I would consider put myself in that category of just being so Americanized, and it's not something that I particularly enjoyed while I was there. So, as I move forward, let's get some kids back to experiencing the culture, what our culture really is. Let's maybe even take some trips to Puerto Rico, because I think that would be very beneficial for everyone. One of the places I really want to go, and this is not somewhere that I didn't go here on this night, but one of the places I really want to go is, let me go ahead and share my screen, is to the island of Vieques, where I would love to see this tree. Now, I didn't even know this tree existed. And I came back on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday, I just hadn't had enough of learning about Puerto Rico. So I put a documentary on, and in the documentary, I learned about this tree in Vieques, the tree of knowledge. Now, it just so happens that I bought my son a little leather bracelet with the tree of knowledge as a symbol on the bracelet, not even understanding that that this tree was in Puerto Rico. All right, let me stop sharing. Right now, if you look, let's see if I have a banner here. If you look on the top right-hand corner, this is my logo, the Tree of Life, that Bill, Kathy, Michelle, and I came up with together. Now, I love this logo, and I love the Tree of Life for many reasons. For me, it's always represented the necessity to kind of try to reach into heaven, but you can't extend into heaven unless you're willing to go deep down into hell. Sasha, you're getting me off track. So anyway, that's my logo. That's the Leadership Matters logo. And then I saw this documentary the other day, and with this Tree of Knowledge tree in Vieques, and I just realized, like, oh my God, like if I had known this beforehand, I would have gone there. So I got to get back. I got to go see this tree. It is said apparently the Taino thought of this tree as the place that housed the spirits. So I kind of want to go and just be present and be with it and feel the presence, so I just think it's, it's a symbol. It talks about our roots, our ancestry. I think science now is even proving to the fact that all the people that have ever come before us are still in us. They're still within us. So our ancestors are still with us. Yes, absolutely, Jen. Like, this is a great reason to go back. And, I loved the trip. Jen and I went together, and, it was just an amazing time. And I want to go. I got to go back. I got to go see that tree. I didn't know that it was there, and I would have done that. but maybe, it was only a few days, and I think if I go back, I'm definitely going back for a much longer period of time. And I want to bring people with me, and I want to speak to some young men around that tree about life, and teach some life lessons. and continue learning, because that's what it's about. It's continuing learning, continuing to teach. That is the next stage of evolution. Again, that's why I think, Puerto Rico has experienced so much, and it is such a, I guess, again, the word I keep coming to is microcosm. We, it has European cultures, European cultures, African, ancestry, indigenous ancestry, American culture mixed in. I mean, it's kind of, the place where everything meets and everything comes together. And I feel that it's, my responsibility, my duty, if you will, D in leadership, to keep pushing forward and take that next step of evolution and help others take this next step of evolution, which is to accept each other, one another, and move forward together. We have all these things that we're arguing over so much. And we have to begin to understand each other's differences, which, again, this was something I learned. It's something I felt pretty much from every person we spoke to while we were there. That if you simply try to understand Puerto Rican culture and Latin culture, even if you don't really understand what you're doing, if you take that step, then we accept you. We'll give you a little extra attention and love and effort. And I think that's something that our Puerto Rican culture can exemplify and be, model moving forward, is just, hey, let's just try to learn about each other. And as long as there's a little bit of learning and understanding and empathy, then we can accept one another. We have to take that next step. Ancestors, will always exist in us. Yes, that's in our DNA, right? So that's something that we know to be true. Science is proving to be true. Metaphysics has proven that. Buddhist philosophy, shamanism, all of those things are proving these things to be true. We live in a very interesting time where all these things are coming together. It would be ignorant of us to ignore that. So anyway, with that, I'm going to let it be for the night. Thank you guys very much for checking in, for commenting. I appreciate it. Moving forward, let people know what's going on with me and on this podcast and what I'm going to be doing. Again, I want to speak to young men, specifically young men of color. Why can't you be that person every day? It shouldn't apply at all. I'm saying Puerto Rico is just, we want me as a person. I'm trying to embody that culture of Puerto Rico and push that forward with everyone. That's just me, right? But anyway, I want to speak to young men, specifically young men of color, but not only young men of color. Help them develop the leadership abilities in their lives that I know that they need. Leadership is not about a position. It's about a state of mind. So help me develop that state of mind in young men. And also helping some people that have been through some of the mess that I've been through in the last couple of years, of getting through divorce, of raising kids. I have some experience in this. I can help. So let people know that I'll be here. I'm going to continue to be here on Facebook and YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere else. Let's build this a little bit. And if you think you might know someone who can benefit from some of the things I talk about, feel free to share the page and let them know to reach out to me. All right, everyone, thank you very much. Again, this is Leadership Matters Live number 11. I hope to talk to you real soon. Be well.